Hello there, kia ora. Media has such a huge, powerful ability to change the way that we perceive things that people don't often realise just how much of an impact it can have on, say, local body elections. This year, we're going to see that from local media putting their own spin on things, as well as nationwide media doing the same thing. We saw a really good example of that this morning out of Wellington. Wellington City Councillor Ray Chung, who's also running for the mayoralty under his independent Together ticket that's been put together by Better Wellington, which you would have heard about in the documentary Fabricated Consent. Well, he's been caught out sending emails with some lewd gossip about Tory whānau. He admits that it's gossip, he admits he never fact-checked, he just thought it was interesting that people were saying these things to him on the street, and some of it is highly inappropriate workplace banter. You would never have it in any other workplace. Why should it be allowed in an elected facility like this? It's, gross. Honestly, it's just gross. But there were two news stories that were written up about this that gave us two really different perspectives, even just in the headlines. This is the Post story, which takes Ray's side. Says the man's working very hard, needs a bit of a break, is obviously under a lot of stress at the moment. I guess. This is the story from the Herald. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Herald actually is reading as this more woke article. Anyway, this is the story from the Herald, which points out exactly what happened and what the facts are. And it doesn't take an emotive perspective. Now, the story from the Post is actually really short. There's very little in the way of detailed information, whereas the story from the Herald goes through and talks to the people that the email was sent to, talks to Chung himself about what's going on, talks to Tory whānau herself about what it means that these things keep cropping up and these rumours keep happening. Oddly enough, though, one of the things I found most fascinating about that particular piece was an interview with Nicola Young that they talked to. Now, she's a Wellington City Councillor, the one who jumped on the platform and started gossiping about previous rumours around Tory whānau and the sex tape that was apparently out there that she said must have been there because a prominent Wellingtonian told her. See, in this story, she's just going, well, I did tell Ray it was very tawdry and he probably should delete it, giving her a much more reasonable sounding platform than what we've seen from her in the past. But the Herald didn't pull her up on that in the past either. But this is the better, more in-depth story that has a much wider range of views and doesn't make the person who did this seem a lot more sympathetic to voters. And this all comes down to bias. The Post has, for a very long time, had a bias against Tory whānau in particular, as well as the green-leaning policies from members of her council. And this is a way of being able to not vilify her, but also not necessarily vilify the person who is sending lewd messages to other co-workers in this particular way. Keeping an eye on how our media biases in our areas work is really important, but it's not always an easy tool to be able to grapple with. And there are things that you can do to find out which way the bias leans. Who are they sympathising with? Who are they platforming as a hero within a piece or as a villain within the piece? What information are they giving you, and is that information framed in a way that makes somebody look really positive, or an event look really positive, or an outcome look really positive? Are they framing things about individuals versus collective outcomes? There's a whole bunch of different tools that we can use to be able to work out what bias is within our media. So make sure that you're paying attention to what's going on around your area. Keep an eye out for the local election news that's going to be popping up. Good luck on the hunt.